What's good, everybody? D&B ENT,
D&B.
your boy B. Hey man, today we're about to do another video from Shane. This video is titled Scariest Torture Devices. I feel like every single torture device is scary because who wants to be tortured? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel like drilling somebody's brain is scary. From the simplest ones to the most elaborate ones, they all scary. Peeling off the person's fingernails and stuff. Like that's not a device though. It is a device that like peels off your fingernail. I thought they just use like. I don't know what they use. Maybe it's a device, maybe not. But I'm ready to hop into it. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Yes, today we're going to be doing another creepy video. And for today's video, brace yourselves. Because we are going to be talking about some of the scariest torture methods throughout history. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the Saw movies where it shows a victim being tortured by some big machine. They have things screwed on their head, screwed on their body. If they get a question wrong, their whole head could explode. And it probably seems like those are, science fiction. Like, that's not real. Well, I did some researching and holy fuck. Throughout history, torture devices have been used that are not that far away from that. And here are just a few of the scariest. First torture device we're going to talk about is rat torture. Okay, so this method happened in the medieval times. What? It is super fucked up. So the victim would be laid down on arms tied so they couldn't move. They would also be stripped naked. Then somebody would put a cage right on top of their stomach. And in this cage was a rat that was starving, hadn't eaten in days. Now this cage that they put on top of the victim's stomach didn't have a bottom, so the rat would be like running around on their stomach. And this is where it gets fucking gross. The person doing the torturing would heat up the cage. They would usually use fire or coals or anything the rat trying to get away as hot as possible. Now this makes the cage so fucking hot that the rat needs to escape, and the only way out is through the victim's stomach. So the rat would start eating its way into the victim's stomach and start burrowing inside of the victim's body. And this would last for like 3 hours. And this would always result in death. Now this kind of torture has been shown in movies and recreated on TV shows. Yeah, it's so fucked up. Just look at this clip from Game of Thrones.
Hey, I never saw.
We saw this on Game of Thrones?
Please stop. Please. Started to. Hey. I didn't see anyone helping. Take it off! Take it off! Who had them? Gaines, the butcher, and his son! That's better. You've been very helpful. No, stop, please! What are you doing? Please, stop! Please, stop! No! No! I'll do everything! No!
Okay, so this next torture device is probably the most brutal. And this is called
more brutal than that?
Wheel. Now this once again was used back in the medieval times, and it was used all over the world, but it was mainly used in the Holy Roman Empire, and it was for, some very serious crimes. Like if you killed somebody in your bloodline, or you killed your own children, you would be punished by a breaking wheel. So first the victim would be tied to a massive wooden wheel, and this would be done in public, just so people can watch. So now you're tied to the wheel with your arms and your legs spread out, and the executioner gets to take swings at you with a wooden bat or a hammer. And because your arms and legs are tied and there's like gaps behind it, when it hits, those bones break real fast. And it wasn't just an executioner that would be able to take swings at you.
Anybody?
They would let like the victim's families, like for example, if you killed somebody, their family members would all get to take a swing at you while you were tied up. Then after they beat you up for like hours and all your bones are broken, they leave you tied to the wheel for 3 days while you slowly die in public. Okay, so this next torture method is very fucked up and just, it's a lot. This is called the Judas Cradle, and this was happening in the 16th century. So
the Judas Cradle? What happened?
People who committed sex crimes. So, rape, molestation, but also homosexuality and cheating on your wife. So, like, definitely not something I think you should get tortured for. I mean, I don't think you should get tortured for anything, but...
Not me either.
Okay, so here's how it works. So the person would be sat on top of a huge pyramid, which was made out of steel. They would be naked, and they literally would sit on the point. So it goes in their fucking ass. And if you were a girl, they would make you sit on the point, so it went in your vagina. Then they would put heavy weights on top of you, so it would slowly push you down farther on the swing. Now the most fucked up part about this is this actually wouldn't kill the person, but instead it would permanently mutilate their life, it was just destroyed. I mean, some people did die from it, but then some people died later because the steel pyramid that they used was never washed. And people got crazy infections from that. That one fucks me up. Okay, so the next form of torture is called the Iron Maiden. And this one you probably will remember from a lot of movies. This was back in the 14th century, and it basically was a big steel tomb that they would open up, put you inside of, and then lock the door. So that sounds bad, but what made it really bad was inside of the tomb were long spikes. And sometimes they would be so long that when they closed the door, the spikes would go right through you, and you would slowly die. Now they've shown this in tons of movies.
Yeah, I've seen that in a movie before.
And they've also shown this in kids' movies. I'm not kidding.
What?
Do you remember the Chokey from Matilda? Yeah, that's pretty much an Iron Maiden.
The apple never drops far from the tree.
So in that movie,
yeah.
it's shown as kind of like a joke, but it definitely was not funny back in the 14th century. Okay, now this next thing is a form of torture, but mainly just a form of murder. And this is something that happens to this day, and that is concrete shoes. So I'm sure you've seen this in movies. Basically how it works is somebody will have concrete
I've never seen
tied
this.
to their legs, and they'll be thrown into the ocean.
Oh.
Sinking and sinking and sinking until they drown. Now the scariest part about this is as you are sinking, the pressure of the water builds so much. Sorry, it's fucking giving me goosebumps thinking about it. It literally feels like everything is crushing in on you, and it's probably one of the most painful things ever. Now this is something that people have seen in movies, and like, you know, it's been kind of an urban legend, like whether or not this really happens. Well, it's not a legend anymore, because last year in America, a body was found in
With cement shoes, huh?
tied to their feet. So it is very real. Now that's only one body that's been found. Just imagine how many bodies are at the bottom of the ocean, just decaying with concrete tied to their feet. Probably hundreds. Okay, so this next torture device, I'm just warning you, this one is going to make you feel some things, and this is called the saw torture. And no, this is not the saw movies.
Saw torture? Are they sawing off
The victim
something?
will be tied.
Oh!
A large saw will be placed right in between their legs, and then two people will take that saw on each side and start cutting through your body until it kills you. Now this is something that's happened throughout history, and it's still happening. Now I'm not going to explain where it's still happening and why, because I don't want to get involved in that shit, but it is still happening. Now sometimes they tie you right side up and they start sawing at your head. Usually they do it from the groin because it takes longer.
From the head, at least you'll die quicker.
Okay, now this torture method is so fucking insane that the Mythbusters tried to debunk it, and unfortunately they found out that it's real. This is called bamboo torture. Now this happened back in the 1820s, but it also happened in World War II to capture American soldiers. So bamboo is one of the fastest growing plants in the world, and it's incredibly strong, which is why they chose it for this torture. So first the victim would be tied down to the ground right over a young bamboo sapling. Then in 3 days the bamboo would start to grow, and it grows so fast that it grows through the person's body, and after enough time, the bamboo literally will be coming out your stomach or your chest like you are a fucking pot. Like you are literally a pot, and it's growing right through you. Now, anytime I've ever seen in a movie where a plant tries to kill you, it fucks me up. I don't know why. There's something about it that really just ruins everything in my head. Like I remember this one movie where this plant was like grabbing onto this girl's arm, going through her eyes. So the fact that
I didn't like the happening. That scared me.
is real. I'm never going outside. I mean, I don't anyways, but definitely not. Okay, so this next torture device has been shown in a lot of movies, so you'll probably recognize it. This is called the brazen bull. So they take a massive metal statue of a bull that is empty inside, and then they put the victim inside of it. Then they light a fire under it, and it cooks the metal. And then
Ooh, I've never heard of that
turns the
before.
inside into an oven, and it cooks you alive. Okay, so here's like a couple weird facts about this too. Now inside of the metal bowl, they would have like a pipe that would, exit the mouth of the bowl. So when you're screaming, everybody watching can hear it. But the pipe turns it into a deeper sound, so it sounds like a bull, like growling. And then also the smoke from inside, because you're being cooked, starts to come out the bull's nose. The whole thing is just very elaborate and justice.
That's just weird. Whoever
Okay,
wants.
so this last thing we're going to talk about is very dark, and it involves the serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, Jeffrey Dahmer is one of the most infamous serial killers ever. I mean, there's been movies made about his murders. Some of the things he did to his victims have been recreated in other movies, but this particular thing he did just really stood out to me. So Dahmer wanted to put his victims in kind of like a zombie-like state so that he could do whatever he wanted to them. He actually didn't like killing them. He liked torturing them and doing things to them. Killing them meant it was over. So one thing he would do is take a power drill a hole into the top of their head, and then pour acid inside of the hole to fully zombify their brain. First of all, the victim was alive while this was happening. Like literally alive while he's drilling a hole in their head, and then it would melt.
And then pour acid? That's crazy. I feel like that should kill him though.
And that really fucked me up. And this would zombify them for a little while he had his way, and then he would kill them. Well, there you guys go. That is all the torture we wanted to talk about today.
Oh, that was intense. Like, that was really weird and scary. Like, I couldn't even imagine going through any of these things. Like, yikes.
People getting tortured for a long time.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years. Just getting tortured.
Yeah, let us know what y'all thought about it. Make sure you
Like,
comment,
subscribe.
See you in the next one. Bye.